the Champions League table. That includes 4 in the round of 16 automatic advance spots. As you can see there, Arsenal in 2nd place, Manchester City in 4th, Newcastle in 6th, Liverpool in 8th, followed by Spurs in 10th, and Chelsea in 12th place there. So there is a lot to discuss here, but I guess the basic question that we would be looking at, Jamie, is are we entering now a kind of a Premier League era in the Champions League? Is that something we can say?
I think we can. I don't think we can talk about English teams dominating the Champions League until they win it. Mm-hmm. I think we're at a stage, though, where I think the English teams will find it quite comfortable to get to the latter stages of it. I think that the depth of quality and strength in the Premier League goes a lot deeper than any other league, whereas the other leagues will still have a Real Madrid or Barcelona, maybe PSG, Bayern Munich, who can stop the English teams actually winning it. I think they're on the same level as the English teams, but when you see the English teams, and it takes me back to when myself and Thierry were playing in the late 2000s, where you'd start the Champions League competition and you were pretty much certain that you would be getting to the quarterfinals before you had to really break sweat, or really had to worry about maybe the opposition that you would come up against. So I think we are getting to that stage. And there's something that has been mentioned in, meeting when we've had chats before the show, and I think it's spot on. I don't think we put enough pressure on English teams to win the Champions League in our own country. I think the pressure that's applied to Barcelona and Real Madrid, especially in Spain, it almost feels like a huge failure of the season if they don't win the Champions League, regardless if they win La Liga. Whereas in England, it's a feeling of, OK, but the league's the most important thing. I've always said, and I'll never change my mind on this, the Champions League is a bigger trophy than a domestic league title. And that's not because I won the Champions League and didn't win the Premier League. For me, it's the biggest trophy in club football. And I think we should be... Sorry, Micah. I do think we should be a lot tougher on our teams when they go out the competition. Even like Liverpool last season, we just say, OK, it's a cup competition, now you can concentrate on the league. We'll probably say the same about Arsenal this season as well.
No, I just wanted to ask you, you shushed me off then. Is that because of the history of Liverpool and the success in Europe? Why for you? Because as an Englishman, I always wanted to win the Premier League. FA Cup and Premier League, I was done, I was happy with that. Champions League was never a forefront of my mind, but why was it for you?
No, I don't think it was the forefront of my mind when I was playing. As like, it's just got to be about the Champions. What are you two laughing at? Am I stuttering here or something? I mean,
you don't want to know why we're laughing. Trust me. Carry on with what you're doing.
What's going on?
I am listening though. I'm finding it.
Is it rude?
By the way.
No, it wasn't rude.
Let's go.
Okay, right. Let's get back. Let's get back to it.
No, go on.
Let the kids carry on over there.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm waiting for my turn.
For you what? Your turn.
I mean, Peter has said I spoke too much at the interview. Shall I just shut up?
No, I enjoyed what you were saying. But why
the Champions League is a bigger trophy than the Premier League. End of story.
Why was it special for you?
It's the biggest trophy you can win. End of story. It's not even a debate. Come on, Thierry wants to come in.
Go ahead, Thierry.
No.
What's funny?
No, but it can't be shared now. No. Joking aside, I don't think you can say that the English team are dominating the Champions League right now. And I go with what Jamie was saying. You need to win it to say that. At one point, you had, I think it was 2 to 3 years in a row that you had three teams from England in the semi-final.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's when you can say you're dominating in a way. But Barca, at one point, I think we went to the final beating English teams on the way. Paris Saint-Germain beat all the English teams on the way last year. I just think that, as you said, when you arrive at Barcelona, and the same with you with the history at Liverpool, when you walk into the building, you see the Champions Leagues on the walls, you see people that want it. And if you want to be compared to legends at the club, it has to be by winning the Champions League. That's also something that is different. And in your time, Jamie, also growing up, looking at Liverpool and walking into the team, the champions only used to go and were allowed to play to win that, to say that they're the best. We know that now, the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the sixth. And then England also have more possibility to put teams in the Champions League.
Can I ask you, I always say the team I played against, the team that you played in was the toughest team I ever played against, yeah? In our country, we would never criticise that Arsenal team of yours or the Invincibles for not winning the Champions League. If that was in Spain, that team, I think, would always say, yes, but you never won the Champions League. That doesn't happen in England.
It will be what we would have been called on. But again, like, you said something, Michael, that's very interesting, and I'm not having a go. Your view when you arrive at City is like, what can I win at City? You're like, okay, maybe, okay, the cup. Then suddenly you're like, oh, we can win the league. When you arrive in the building at Liverpool, you know the history in Europe. You know, we have an history in Europe at Arsenal, not in the Champions League yet in terms of winning. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you did believe sometimes at Anfield that you can like turn a game around like against anyone. And playing that team that you won the Champions League with, this is why I think history makes it bigger than what it is sometimes. Your team that won the Champions League in 2005, and you know it, Jimmy, you said it yourself, that's not the best team you play for. Yes, you had players that could change the course of a game, but I played against that team in the league, and I didn't see that belief sometimes playing against you, but you had it in Europe. So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so sometimes the place also makes it that if I walk in the street right now, and when I was an Arsenal player, no fans were coming to me and said, you must win the Champions League. When you're at Barcelona and Real Madrid.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Yes, you're right. I'm saying, do you get called upon that? And you need to win 1 or 2 or 3, even at Madrid, to be considered as a great.
Why do you think it's like that in England, Micah?
I just think growing up, I don't think, maybe for me, because when I come through at Man City, they wasn't a Champions League team. So you come into the team and the FA Youth Cup, I missed out on that, and then I think the goal for me was to win the FA Cup. We did that. And then you start dreaming, the investment comes into the club. It's the league. That's all we talked about. It was never maybe because the Champions League wasn't realistic at the time, but it was all about the league. And then we missed out, got to the Champions League, and then we won the league. And it was just, and if I ask any of my friends or ex-players, always say they'd rather win the league than the Champions League. And that's why when I ask you the question, it intrigues me. It genuinely does. I don't know if that's because of the history of the club or you personally just prefer the Champions League.
And don't forget, a few weeks ago, we were on this show talking about the problem Thomas Frank's got going forward with Tottenham in terms of he can't quite get that rotation right. Let's not forget we're 6 or 7 years in with Mikel Arteta, a few months in with Thomas Frank. But this is absolutely out of this world. The movement and interchanging of positions is fantastic. So we've seen Zubimendi, the whole midfield player, on the edge of the box. He now finds himself high up the pitch. We've seen Declan Rice. Declan Rice is just coming into midfield now. He's been part of the back three. And when you see the positions here, great, again, from Saka and Timber. But just as this cross is coming in, Timber, there's Zubimendi, your whole midfield player. Let's not forget, at the start of this clip, we highlighted Zubimendi on the edge of his own box. You've now got these two players, Moreno and Eze, in the positions we've highlighted right throughout these clips, on the edge of the box, in space. And there's your left-back coming in at the far post in the left-wing position. The actual movement of players for Arsenal, interchanging the positions, is absolutely fantastic. Timber crosses the ball in, and again, that space is there. Brilliant first-time pass from Declan Rice. And that is absolutely brilliant. But that comes from the interchanging of positions constantly.
But look at Jamie. We're going to show Eze a hat-trick scorer, a hat-trick hero. Look at the responsibility of the ball. What was impressive from his performance was that engagement. Look at that. He's prepared now to sprint to the centre half after stopping that internal pass, and now he's going to carry on to the goalkeeper. An attitude that we've seen on players like Dembélé winning the Ballon d'Or. Look at the engagement, a creative player, a player that has scored 3 goals, but here in this Arsenal side, Mikel Arteta has created a competitive edge that everybody who's on the pitch need to have that attitude. Watch him here. The ball goes played internally, it will follow the midfielder, He's doing a job for his team. Real focus, understanding that in football, in the modern game, you need to be complete in order to win games. And that was probably the most impressive aspect of that performance.
So with Portugal, you now manage some of the biggest names in world football, certainly in attacking players. How difficult is it to get them to sort of buy into the defensive side of the game?
I don't think it's difficult. I think we...
Or is it a must now? Is there no...
It is a must, because what we're talking about is that you don't need to be good at the defensive actions, about winning the ball back. What you have to be committed is that intention of helping the team. Nowadays, we've seen it, probably Paris Saint-Germain winning the Champions League. They are a team that off the ball probably the strongest than any. And this is the commitment that the players, the modern players, understand, that if you want to be an important player in any team, you need to have that attitude. We're not saying about being good, defensively, but you need to have that attitude of being able to be accountable for your team when you lose the ball.
Thank you.